Look at your dog the next time you cry. Really look. You are sitting on the edge of the bed or sunk deep into the couch, your shoulders shaking, the air in the room heavy with the sound of your own shaky breathing. And then you hear it. The click-clack of nails on the hardwood. The heavy rhythmic panting. The sudden, wet pressure of a cold nose pressing into your knee, or the soft, deliberate weight of a cat jumping up to press its flank against your chest. They weren't called. They weren't offered a treat. They just appeared right in the center of your distress. Everyone gives the same lazy explanation for this. They say, "Oh, they just want attention," or "they know you're sad," or in the case of cats, "they just want food because you forgot to fill the bowl." That's wrong. When your pet walks into your tears, they are not just looking for a snack, and they are not just seeking a pet. They are executing a highly specific, biologically driven sequence of behaviors that completely contradicts the myth of the selfish animal. Today, I am going to give you the easy answer for what they are actually doing when you cry. But I am also going to leave you with a much harder, unanswered question about what they are actually feeling, because the science of animal emotion is about to change the way you look at your pet forever. Act 1: The familiar mystery. Let's break down the exact moment this happens, because the physical details matter. When you cry, your body language changes. Your face drops, your vocal pitch alters, and your breathing becomes irregular. Your dog's response is usually overt and physical. They will approach you with a lowered head, their ears pinned back, their tail tucked or wagging in a low, slow, submissive arc. They might whine, a high-pitched, tonal sound that vibrates in their throat, and they will physically press their body weight against you. They are making themselves small. Your cat's response is entirely different, which is exactly why it gets misinterpreted. The cat does not whine. The cat does not lower its head in submission. Instead, the cat approaches with a slow, deliberate gait. They might offer a soft, closed-mouth trill. They will sit just inches away or drape themselves directly over your lap, and they will begin to purr. A low, rhythmic, vibrating purr. The folk explanation, the one you hear from people who don't live with animals, is that the dog is empathetic and the cat is just using you as a heated blanket. The dog cares, the cat is indifferent. But if you watch them closely, you will notice that neither animal is acting out of pure instinctual panic, nor are they acting out of selfish convenience. They are both doing something that requires them to override their baseline survival instincts. In the wild, a crying, distressed human is a vulnerability signal. It is a signal of weakness. Yet, both the ambush predator and the pack hunter are choosing to step directly into that vulnerability. To understand why, we have to look at the machinery of how they process your distress. Act 2: The machinery. Let's start with the dog, because the data here is incredibly robust. We need to move past the idea that dogs just feel bad when you feel bad, and look at the actual measurable behavior. In 2012, a team of researchers at the University of London, led by Deborah Custance and Jennifer Mayer, designed a brilliant experiment to test this exact scenario. They measured approach latency and behavioral submission in 15 dogs. The setup was highly controlled. The dogs were exposed to their owners and strangers performing 3 different actions: humming a tune, talking normally, and fake crying. The researchers measured exactly how fast the dog approached the person and what the dog did when it got there. The results were staggering. The dogs approached the crying person significantly more often and significantly faster than the person who was humming or talking. But here is the crucial part. The behavior they displayed when they arrived wasn't just curiosity. It was submissive, comfort-seeking behavior. They lowered their heads, they licked, they nudged. This wasn't just a dog investigating a weird noise. This was a targeted, cross-species comfort response. And it wasn't limited to their owners. The dogs did it for strangers too. But why? Because dogs have spent 30,000 years being genetically selected to read human vulnerability. Their brains are literally wired to map our distress signals. In a follow-up study in 2017, a team at the University of Veterinary Medicine, Vienna, measured the left gaze bias in 15 dogs looking at emotional human faces. They found that dogs process crying faces with the right hemisphere of their brain, the exact same hemisphere humans use to process negative emotions. Your dog isn't just seeing you cry, their brain is processing your sadness using the same neurological hardware you use to feel it. Act 3: The twist. Now I have to be straight with you. All of that incredible, robust data, that was dogs. When it comes to cats, the scientific literature on emotional empathy is nowhere near as thick. If you listen to the pop culture narrative, cats are solitary, asocial creatures who lack the neurological framework for empathy. The myth is that a cat simply cannot comprehend your tears. But recent research is violently contradicting that myth. The twist is that cats do care about your distress, but they are entirely blind to the visual and auditory cues that dogs rely on. If you're crying with your face buried in your hands, a dog will nudge your arm. A cat will just sit there. People see this and think, see, the cat doesn't care. But that is a failure of human imagination, not feline empathy. Cats are not looking at your face. They are smelling your chemistry. Now I have to give you the caveat. The cat empathy data is still being mapped, and we don't have the massive, multi-university consensus that we have for dogs. But what we do have is a fundamental misunderstanding of feline sensory input. Cats do not need you to look at them to know you are falling apart. They can smell your emotional state changing in real time before you even make a sound. Act 4. Direct evidence in the actual animal. To prove this, we have to look at the olfactory system. In 2023, a team at the University of Bari in Italy, led by researcher Biagiotti and Dingio, conducted a fascinating study on feline emotional detection. They measured physiological and behavioral responses in 20 domestic cats. Here is how they did it. They had human donors watch videos designed to induce specific emotional states: happiness, fear, and sadness. The researchers then collected the sweat from the donors during these emotional peaks. Sweat contains volatile organic compounds, chemical signatures that change drastically depending on what you are feeling. The team then exposed the 20 cats to cotton pads containing these emotional sweat samples, while the cats were in the presence of their owners. The results completely shattered the indifferent cat myth. When the cats were exposed to the chemical signatures of human fear and sadness, their own heart rates spiked. They displayed behavioral signs of stress, and crucially, they sought physical proximity to their owners. They didn't run away. They didn't ignore it. They moved closer to their human. This means that when you are sitting on the couch crying, your cat is not ignoring you. Your cat is detecting the exact chemical shift in your sweat and breath that corresponds to distress. The purring you hear, that isn't just a cat enjoying the warmth of your lap. In feline biology, purring is a self-soothing mechanism, but it is also a mechanism used to soothe others. Your cat is literally vibrating at a frequency designed to regulate your nervous system, because your chemical distress signals are causing them physiological stress, and they are trying to fix it. Act 5. Why it matters, the deeper reason. This brings us to the deeper reason why this matters, and it requires us to reframe how we view the bond between human and animal. Scientists often debate whether animals possess cognitive empathy, the ability to intellectually understand what another being is feeling, or just emotional contagion, the ability to catch the feeling like a yawn. Whether your dog or cat has true cognitive empathy is scientifically unresolved. It is a gorgeous guess, not a strict measurement. But the behavioral response is real, it is measurable, and it is entirely linked to the strength of the bonded relationship. Think about what is actually happening in your living room. You are a massive apex predator. You are the creature who controls the food, the doors, the leash, the litter box. You are the source of all security in their world. And yet, when you become vulnerable, when you leak chemical signals of distress, they do not see you as weak prey. They see you as their colony member who is hurting. Your dog chose to lower its head and submit to your sadness. Your cat chose to absorb your chemical stress and vibrate at a healing frequency. This isn't convenience. This isn't just about who fills the food bowl. This is a profound, cross-species alliance. They are running a constant background model of your emotional state, and when that state drops, they intervene. Act 6. Practical takeaway. So, what do you do with this information? Here are 3 concrete things to do the next time you find yourself crying in front of your pet. Number 1. Do not push them away. When your dog nudges you or your cat climbs onto your chest, let them stay. Pushing them away reinforces the idea that your distress is a rejection of their presence. Allowing them to stay reinforces the bond, and according to oxytocin research, the physical contact is likely mutually regulating. It lowers their cortisol and it lowers yours. You are co-regulating each other's nervous systems. Number 2, understand the retreat. Not every pet will approach you when you cry. Some dogs will hide under the bed, some cats will leave the room. Do not assume this means they don't love you. In veterinary behavior, avoidance in the face of high emotional arousal is a recognized coping style, not a lack of bonding. They are overwhelmed by the chemical and auditory signals, and they are retreating to self-soothe so they can handle the stress. Give them space, and they will return when they are regulated. Number 3, and this is a crucial caretaking PSA, if you have a normally highly affectionate pet who suddenly, persistently starts avoiding you or hiding when you cry, pay attention. While it can be a coping style, a sudden, drastic change in how a pet responds to your emotional distress can be an early indicator that the pet itself is experiencing subclinical pain or cognitive decline. They may be hypersensitive to the emotional arousal of the household because their own neurological threshold is compromised. If the avoidance is new and persistent, it is worth a mention to your vet. Act 7, the payoff. Let's return to the moment on the couch. You are crying. The room is quiet except for your breathing. Your dog walks over and rests its heavy chin on your knee. Your cat jumps up and begins to purr against your chest. Neither of them fully understands the complex, abstract concept of human sadness the way you do. They don't know about the bad day at work or the heartbreak or the financial stress. But something in your voice, something in the chemical shift of your sweat, something in the heavy stillness of your body, pulled them across the room anyway. They stepped into your vulnerability and chose to stay. That is not nothing. That is a brain at full power, processing a chemical signal of distress and deciding that the best course of action is to offer comfort. And by every behavioral measure we have, you are the center of that decision. Someone is. A brain at full power replaying a life. And by every measure we have, you are the best part of that life. Subscribe and drop a comment below. Does your dog or your cat come to you first when you're upset, or do they give you space? Tell me the story. And if you think your cat is ignoring you when you leave the house, you need to see what the hidden cameras actually catch in the first 30 seconds after the door clicks shut. Click the next video to find out.